Our next speaker leads R-Cycle, the world's first global tracing platform for plastic products and packaging. So the question is, how can seamless material tracking and digital transparency very difficult word, revolutionize, I got it, the circular economy? So let's find out, and please welcome Dr. Benedikt Brenken, Director R-Cycle at ProData. The revolution is on.
Yeah. Thanks, Doreen, for the nice introduction. Yeah, dear ladies and gentlemen, very excited to be here. I think this was the hardest part of this presentation. I represent R-Cycle, an industry initiative to create transparency along supply and value chains. And what I would like to do with you to explain, what is our motivation, what is part of the solution, and I think what's also important here to show you some practical examples how companies have already used and what benefits can be realized with this solution. As we are on a Circular Valley Convention, I think I can be very quick as we are all on the same page here. Yeah. So we are on this transition to a circular economy, and I think here on this convention we see there are a lot of elements, we need to take into account. But one core pillar, in our opinion, is the data, is the information, Or basically, as you can say, you can't turn circular what you can't measure. And I think it's also on the regulatory page, if we see the European Commission had made it quite clear, who says increased product sustainability goes hand in hand with increased information, or as we have here on our national circular economy strategy, that we need basically the transparency, the value chain, the mapping of the physical flows with the data flow. And this is something, all the industry is already experienced, so it's not a future topic, So we already have a quite high demand for accurate product information. So, Darren already talked about, EPR systems. We talk about recyclability assessment, especially in terms of in the packaging field. We have the different types of legislations we talked about, over the last 1.5 days. And I think we also need to take into account there's a legitimate interest of consumers in transparency. And all this leads to a high demand in information. So where's the challenge? Well, being part of an industry initiative of players in the value chain, we say the problem is not that the data is not there. The problem is that the data is not there where it's needed. We have a lot of different value chain actors, different systems in place, talking basically different languages. So what makes it very difficult, to generate the relevant information. And this is what we tackled with R-Cycle. So you can see it like the, Babylonian confusion of languages. But this was made, by ourselves, so we can also solve it. And what is the solution? Well, the solution is a standard. So we work together with the GS1. I don't know who's familiar with GS1, but if you have, for example, a bottle of drinks in your hand, one of the most famous standards is the barcode, who has like 50 years anniversary already. And GS1 provides, let's say, a lot of standards. And so we teamed up together with GS1 and developed a new standard as an industry for circular plastics traceability. And this standard is basically the central basis we built on the solution. Why did we work together with GS1? Because, as an industry we said, if we want to create a solution, it needs to be something open, something free and accessible, and not a proprietary solution. So what we do is basically we create an infrastructure where all the different value chain actors, can exchange information, can aggregate information over the supply chain, so that at the end, for example, you can do such nice analytics that we have seen in the presentation before. I said I wanted to give you some examples. So what are use cases? So what I'm talking about. If we see such a packaging. Yeah, we see, you might have had in your hands this morning, you have 3 components. You have the cap, you have the bottle, you have the sleeve. These are typically produced by, different suppliers. So here now, there was a demand that we need all the information to do a recyclability assessment. This is just a very small extract of information. Overall, we are talking about roughly 120 data points on such a packaging. So if now I ask you, what is the amount of PCR content for the final packaging? So who has a calculator with him? So you need to do some mathematics. Can be done automatically by the system because now all data comes in the same format, in the same structure. And that is basically the beauty and offers, all the benefits you have. So reduce effort. Darren mentioned, and I'm definitely on this page with him, it's about regulation, but it's also about economics. It's about creating benefits. So at the end, you basically have a very, very comprehensive set of information, here for the brand owner. And with this set of information, you can basically create a lot of different values. Yeah, you can do the analytics, you can do the reportings, you can provide information to end consumers, let's say all based on this standardized set of information. Another example, a project we did together with the colleagues from Pöppelmann. An example you can basically you can experience here if they are here over in stand A16. This is a plant pot where they showed basically what material has been used, where we have, let's say, precise information about the recyclate, where we have a traceability of the material that has been used, and also the possibility to add consumer or end consumer relevant information. And all based, let's say, on same standards, on the same format. As you see here, you are free to scan the QR code now, or as I said, feel free to come to the booth. There's quite a set of information. Yeah, you can add certificates, basically all what the different value chain partners need, what customers and consumers needs, can be made available by a standardized solution. Bringing me to another example. So also part of a packaging. Again, we have recycled content, and here it's a PET tray. And so the brand owner who brings it in the market want to have a very clear traceability. Where does this material come from? So this means along different value chain partners, we have the necessity to bring information across, company borders. And this is what makes it typically difficult. So what feedback do we get? So typically they say, well, I have my information already digital available, we are sending PDFs. But this is not what we understand in terms of a digital communication, yeah? So we have this media breaches, this breaks and interruptions, and this makes it all very difficult. But here you have one solution that is able to basically unite all the different value chain partners and to provide, and I think that's also very important, to provide the right level of information. So all the partners, they have the finger on the button and they can decide what is the level of information I want to disclose to the different partners. And I think, we discussed about the amount of PCR content that is needed by all the different legislations. So and therefore I think it's also very important, to have a very trustworthy system here, where you can assure or to avoid misuse of recycled content. Coming to a different application. So when we talk about reusables, also reuse, one of the very important R strategies. Yeah? But also when you want to reuse, it's important, so what happened to this object before? For example, here in terms of this jar. So it's important, with what material has it been filled? How has it been cleaned? And all this information can be stored, in its central life cycle history, and all the different partners, fillers, customers, they can use this central history because it's based on standards. They can contribute, they can add their information, and at the end you have a higher value because you know what's happened with the product. what for can I use it? Or at the end of the lifetime, you can even know, how can I recycle it? Another application. So here we work together with, on the one hand, Jockey, producer of this packaging, and Alpina, producer of this wall paint. And they wanted to create a digital product passport for the paint. Earlier we heard about ESPR, and we know all these products need to provide a digital product passport. And the approach here is again, so we have on the one hand, we have data of the product, here seamlessly combined with the packaging data. So very easy integration, thanks to the interoperability of the standards. And I think this is basically, one of the beauty of the systems, So that makes it very easy for the different partners, to whether contribute to this information flow or get information from this flow of data, or also to aggregate information for different applications. As Fraunhofer is here very present of this conference, of course I also want to showcase a project we made together. It's a project also combined with artificial AI, and so the idea is also to close loops, do a proper recycling. And here again we produced a demo type of packaging, and on Fraunhofer side they developed a kind of LCA tool. But to do the calculation of the LCA tool, you need the data. So what we also implemented here, is with the R-Cycle digital product passport, along the different production steps, so starting from the raw material, the extrusion, the injection molding, the whole production, of this packaging was covered in this specific GS1 standard, and so could be easily provided this information to this LCA tool to have in calculation. And again, it's about interoperability. Which brings me to one last example I want to share, because we had it also yesterday here on stage, the Alliance to End Plastic Waste. They introduced the Holy Grail project, a project where you have a specific digital watermarking on the packaging, and this watermarking should be used, to detect this packaging and to do a more proper or more intelligent sorting. Detection is the one part, but on the other hand, you need the information. And here together with GS1, we're also part, to develop a data structure that is open, that is based on standard, and allows all the different value chain actors to participate also in such a project. And I think this brings me to the end, and also something we heard yesterday. We just heard from Dorothea before, and Karin Huberheim yesterday mentioned it's about circular economy needs a radical collaboration. And I think this is what it's really about. And I'm very happy to have this kind of convention here, because circular economy is nothing we can create on our own. And therefore we're very happy for all the different partners, who already stepped up and we're working with together. And I'm very open, very happy. I'm here until the end of the day, so come to us and let's explore what benefits you can create out of digital product passports and traceability for your business. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Benedikt. Thank you so much for this deep dive into how digital product passports are empowering the circular economy. Thank you so much.